I remember when I was a little kid, I would dream of making those game-winning touchdown receptions in my bed. And back then, I was like super obsessed with football. And here is the evidence. Welcome back to the Psosi Bedroom Art Gallery Tour. I'm Psosi, your tour guide. And we are in now part 3 of the gallery tour, and we're going to be looking at this corner of my bedroom here. In this corner here, I have over 100 plus little NFL player drawings. So I don't want to go into too much detail about each, individual drawing, but I think it'll be cool to just look through all the drawings that I did from about 2010 to 2012. This was when I was in like 4th grade through like 6th grade that I was drawing all these players. So this will really show how much of like an NFL nerd I was. Like there are some players on here that you wouldn't know unless you really know ball. So yeah, I'm just excited to kind of go through all of these drawings. It always, just brings me back to where I first like originally discovered my passion for art and drawing and creativity. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so we're gonna start right. Oh my God, it's bright. Up first, we have this self-portrait. I low-key look like Barack Obama, but yeah, I think I drew this in 4th grade. I think it was like my 4th grade picture day picture that I was trying to replicate, but yeah, it'll do. It'll do. Then this is just more so of an artifact than a piece of artwork, but this is a Bible verse, Ephesians 4:26, which says, "Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry." And for me, that's just something I always think about. Like, that's probably why I'm able to, not be mad a lot. But yeah, up next, we have this Winnie the Pooh drawing. And so the background for this is that during my sophomore year of college, our RA wanted our floor theme to basically be like everyone say like something that they want someone else to draw for their like door decoration. And so I chose Winnie the Pooh, and then someone on my floor drew this Winnie the Pooh character. Then up next, we have this drawing of Phineas from Phineas and Ferb that I'm pretty sure my sister drew, which I think she likely was in 1st grade at the time. So yeah, shout out Manuela for the fire drawing. And then I have all these drawings of like logos from different NFL teams. So Cardinals, Falcons, Ravens, Bills, Panthers, etc. So I'll just kind of go through all of them real quickly. If you follow football, you can see some of these teams' logos have changed a little bit. And then we move on up to, actually wait, let's talk about this first. This is basically a statistics sheet that I kept all throughout elementary school of my football stats during recess. So yeah, this is probably the most serious indication of how obsessed I was with football. But as you can see, during my recess lunch football career, I threw 17 interceptions at quarterback. I had 27 interceptions as a defensive player. I fumbled twice. I recovered 12 fumbles. Sheesh. I scored 13 touchdowns. 6 of those touchdowns were kick return touchdowns, and 3 of those were interception return touchdowns. And this says I had 208 catches. So yeah, I was really getting active out there. But yeah, I just remember those days back in elementary school, just looking forward to recess time and getting to, play a game of pickup football. Definitely a lot of fun memories from that time. And so now we get into the football drawings. This first one is, the drawing is a reference image of Deshaun Jackson, but I instead made it myself, the Psosi NFL player on the Eagles. Then up next, we got Tom Brady. So actually, I believe this Tom Brady drawing was like the very first drawing that I did. This Perry one, even though it's 0, I think I just named it 0 because I wanted it to come before all the NFL players, but I'm pretty sure I drew that after like the first 5. But yeah, first drawing Tom Brady, solid work. Obviously, was probably the best quarterback at that time, maybe competing with Peyton Manning. But next up, we have his good old receiving weapon, Wes Welker, definitely a stud on the Patriots back in the day. And we got a little bit of sunlight here, but we got Percy Harvin on the Vikings. He was an electric player, especially in the return game. Up next, we got Peyton Manning, one of the most accurate quarterbacks of all time, obviously, one of the GOATs. And then we got Deshaun Jackson. He was my favorite Eagles player back in the day, still is one of my favorite players all time. Devery Henderson on the Saints, he was pretty good. LaDainian Tomlinson, Hall of Famer. Then up next, Brian Dawkins, one of the best, well, definitely the best safety the Eagles have ever had. A real character, Weapon X. And up next, we got Tiki Barber and Rondé Barber. They wrote like a book together about how they became football players, basically. And so I had the book, and I think I was inspired by the book and decided to draw them. And then we're going to move all the way over here to Quinton Michael. One of the better defensive backs I think the Eagles had. You might need to get some tape for that. And then up next, Stuart Bradley. I remember he was like an absolute stud for the Eagles. Next up is Jabbar Gaffney. And we got Jory Calvin, some Eagles defensive back. Chris Johnson, one of the fastest players to ever play in the NFL. CJ2K had 2,000 rushing yards in a season. We got Mike Vick on the Eagles. He joined the team like 2010, so that should be a good indication of the timeline. He was really good that year, actually. I remember they opened up the season with some huge plays, him and Deshaun and Shady and all them. Up next, we got Clay Matthews, who was one of the best defensive players during the early 2010s. And then right next to him, one of the best running backs at that same time, Adrian Peterson. And then next up, we got Darren Sproles on the Chargers. So as we've gone through, I'm sure that you can notice that this one kind of looks slightly different in terms of really just like the way that the drawing is rendered. And that's because I think my dad like basically drew most of this one. And I just colored it in. But yeah, Darren Sproles was also a GOAT on the Eagles. Drew Brees, this is another one my dad helped me with. This one, for some reason, I decided to include Sharpie instead of just like colored pencil. But yeah, Drew Brees. And then this one, my dad also, I think like a lot of these in this section, my dad was helping me to draw Jeremy Maclin, underappreciated receiver on the Eagles. Then we got Ray Lewis, one of the scariest, hard-hitting players to ever play the game. And then next to him, Santonio Holmes. He had that great toe tap catch in the Super Bowl. And I think this was, yeah, as I'm looking, this was the last drawing that my dad helped me with. Then up next, we got Cam Newton, I believe, during his rookie year. So this was probably 2011. Darren McFadden, he was a beast on the Raiders. Sean Green, I feel like that's probably a forgotten name for running backs on the Jets. He was pretty nice. Patrick Willis, I think he just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Peyton Hillis was the cover of Madden 2011 or 12. He had like one really good season and then kind of fell off. Then Rob Gronkowski. So yeah, this was definitely 2011, 5th grade when I was drawing these. I think that was also Gronkowski's rookie year. He was a beast. Then we're moving on to Julius Peppers, one of the greatest defensive players. Jason Witten on the Cowboys legend, always would give the Eagles work. Definitely a Hall of Fame tight end. And then Maurice Jones-Drew, I could always relate to him because I think he's like a 5'7" running back, and he was still nice. And then Michael Turner, I feel like that's a forgotten running back. He was super nice on the Falcons. And then Brian Cushing, I mean, this guy was crazy. There's like a video of him smashing, like he smashed his head against a helmet, his nose is bleeding, all that. He was a crazy player, definitely a great player. Sam Bradford, I think he was decent. And Danny Woodhead, he was one of my favorite players at that time. Super shifty and was definitely a great asset for the Patriots. Larry Fitzgerald, one of the best wide receivers of all time. And then we're back over to this side. Marshawn Lynch, we know he had the Beastquake run, absolutely super physical running back. Then we got Ndamukong Suh. There's a lot of mixed opinions on him, I think, but he was definitely a great defensive player. Brian Orakpo, it's definitely one I haven't heard of in a while. But yeah, he was a good player. Anthony Fasano, I feel like he had a good run for a little bit. Reggie Bush, one of the most exciting players of all time, at least in college. Yeah, no, in the NFL. Yeah, what am I talking about? When he was on the Saints. Tebow, this was when Tebow came on the scene, and you'll remember he had that game-winning touchdown on the first possession of overtime against the Steelers. Andy Dalton, I think when he was on the Bengals with like AJ Green, look, we got AJ Green right next to him. They were a solid team at that time. So Jerome Simpson, I think this drawing is in reference to the flip that he did over that one player. I think it might have been the Chiefs. Yeah, he did a flip over a Chiefs player. Definitely one of the all-time NFL highlights. Also, I feel like I kind of glossed over AJ Green. Like, he was tough. Yeah, he's definitely up there in terms of greatest receivers to ever do it. Then we got Tamba Hali, was always, like, I would say, like a super consistently great defensive player on the Chiefs. I think linebacker, the end. Then who we got here? Oh yeah, Hall of Famer Devin Hester, the best returner to ever do it. Then we got Aaron Rodgers on the Packers. This is honestly, like, I feel like I was doing pretty decent with the drawings, but this drawing is kind of looks a little, yeah. Aaron Rodgers, and then yeah, my boy Shady LaShawn McCoy, and then right next to him, literally like one of the worst free agent signings of all time, Nnamdi Asomugha. Like, I was like, yo, shout out to my Nigerian brother, but come on, bro, he was so bad. But we don't hold it against him. Now here we are at Mike Wallace, one of the faster, more exciting receivers for his time. Then we got the GOAT receiver, or not the GOAT receiver, one of the GOAT receivers, Calvin Johnson, Megatron. We got Charles Woodson, Hall of Famer, definitely one of the best cornerbacks of all time. And then next to him, he's definitely up there for lockdown corners, Darrelle Revis. And then next to him, we got Troy Polamalu, insane safety for the Steelers. I mean, this dude was flying all over the place with his long curly hair and everything. Then Matthew Stafford, still in the league. And then Fred Jackson, I feel like this might be a forgotten gem here. He was a stud on the Bills. Ben Roethlisberger, definitely elite for many, many years. Andre Johnson, I just got in the Hall of Fame, I think. Shout out to him. He was a beast. Terrell Suggs, Ray Lewis's partner in crime. He was definitely a monster out there. Arian Foster, shout out to Arian, definitely was one of my favorite running backs at the time. Mario Williams consistently was one of the best defensive players out there. And then Jason Pierre-Paul was literally on such a great trajectory. I mean, I think he still ended up being like a great player, but I feel like not as good as we thought he might be. We got Brandon Jacobs. He was a monster. He's just like huge. Definitely would not want to have to try and tackle him. And then next to him, Ahmad Bradshaw. I feel like that's a forgotten gem. He was a super nice running back. Definitely always gave the Eagles work. And then next to him, we got Aaron Hernandez, Jimmy Graham, one of the best tight ends of all time for sure. Marcus Colston, I feel like underappreciated receiver. Matt Ryan, definitely Matty Ice, I feel like doesn't get enough respect. And we got Roddy White, I feel like an underappreciated receiver. He was super nice. And then Frank Gore, he has the respect. Even then though, I still feel like he's kind of underrated, but definitely a really, really great running back. And now onto the next wall, we got Julio Jones back when he had the long hair. Easily one of the best running wide receivers of all time. We've got Hakeem Nicks. He was definitely really, really good. I feel like he doesn't get talked about as much anymore. Steve Smith, Ice Up Son. John Kuhn, I mean, like, I know he was a fullback and everything, but I like really emphasized the whole like fullback look. Hold up, I gotta straighten this out because I like made him look so wide. But yeah, John Kuhn was a beast at fullback. Victor Cruz, man, always hit the salsa after scoring a touchdown. Definitely always gave the Eagles work. Super nice receiver. Ed Reed, ball hawk, definitely one of the greatest safeties of all time. Him and Troy Polamalu, I feel like, we're always kind of battling it out in that same era. And then we got Matt Forte, underappreciated running back. I feel like on the Bears, he was super nice. Brian Urlacher, dude, definitely would not want to get tackled by him. Johnny Knox, and then Cedric Benson, I do remember for sure. He passed away, so rest in peace to Cedric Benson. We got Ray Maluga. I don't remember if he was really that good. I just thought like he was kind of swaggy. Josh Cribbs, I feel like underappreciated player, return specialist, and I feel like kind of like one of those everything players. Like more recently, I guess like a Cordero Patterson would be his comparison. Then got Demaryius Thomas, another rest in peace. Unfortunately, he was always super good on the Broncos. Then we got Champ Bailey. I feel like definitely underrated corner. One of the best, really actually one of the best to do it. And look at that Broncos jersey. I can't say I'd want to rock that. Yeah, then we got Reggie Wayne. I feel like low-key underappreciated when he was with Peyton Manning. I mean, everyone talks about Marvin Harrison, but Reggie Wayne was super great when he was with Peyton Manning. And then we got Pierre Garçon. Like he was saucy. And then he was also on Washington, then the Redskins, and he would always go off on the Eagles. So shout out to Pierre Garçon. So I just feel like that's like one of the coolest names. We got Bob Sanders. I just remember he was like a super hard-hitting safety. Again, I feel like I kind of emphasized that with those wide shoulder pads. Then we got Jamal Charles. I feel like I could have done a lot better on this drawing, but yeah, Jamal, one of the best running backs. I think he, during his prime at least, like his prime got kind of cut short. Then we got Teddy Bruschi. I'd say like he was, I don't know if he's like one of the best linebackers of all time, but definitely one of the most well-respected. Then we got Sean Green. I'm pretty sure I already drew Sean Green, didn't I? Yeah, wait, where's he at? Yeah, I drew Sean Green earlier. That was like one of the first players I drew. And then I decided to draw Sean Green again. I don't really know why. I can't say like he's ever been one of my favorite players, but yeah, then we got Jacoby Ford. I think like a little speedy wide receiver, return specialist. Can't remember if he was really that nice. Antonio Gates, definitely one of the best to ever do it at the tight end position. Why'd I draw his head like that? But then back over here we got Ryan Matthews. He definitely had like a good little run. I remember he also played on the Eagles for a bit, but honestly, it was kind of a disappointment on the Eagles. But you know, he helped us out a little bit. But yeah, he was pretty good. Who is this? Legedu, what is that? Nani. Legedu Nani. I honestly can't say I know or remember much about him. I think maybe I just thought his name was cool and wanted to draw him. DeAngelo Williams, underappreciated running back for sure. Back with Jonathan Stewart and Cam Newton. And then DeMarco Murray, he was really good for a couple years, and then he kind of fell off. Dez Bryant was, I think people actually need to put some more respect on Dez. I feel like he was consistently one of the best receivers in the league. And it's unfortunate that that catch kind of threw off things for him, because first of all, that was a catch, and I'm an Eagles fan, and even I'll say that like that was definitely a catch. And then yeah, for my 100th player, I drew Cam Newton again. Next to Cam Newton, we got Javid Best. He was really good as well, but I think injuries kind of cut his career short. Nate Burleson, I think, was solid. He's now like on, I think maybe FS1 Fox or something. He's like on, now he's been on TV for like more than a couple of years. I think he's a really great commentator and everything. Then who's this? Tramon Williams. I remember him being pretty nice on the Packers. We got, who is this? Ryan Grant. Oh yeah, Ryan Grant I feel like is a forgotten player for sure. But he was solid too. And then 105. Christian Ponder, he was supposed to be a lot better than he was, but I think he did all right. And then we're going to jump all the way to, see it says 250, 2013. So yeah, this, I don't know why I liked Ray Lewis so much that I decided to put the sketch version, the color version, and then I drew a larger version of the color version for whatever reason. But yeah, that goes to show you just how much I enjoy the sport of football, talking about it, creating work that where football is the subject matter. And honestly, I have no idea why. And that concludes part 3 of the Psosi bedroom art gallery tour. I feel like I really showed my NFL geek right there, just talking about all those different players and remembering like kind of why and how I drew them and what I remember of them. But yeah, that phase of me drawing all these like football players within a couple of years, I think is really what pushed me and drove me to feel passionate about creativity. And so I'm very thankful for this period, because I remember like this is where my first grew my love for, or really like grew my love for creating artwork. And yeah, in the next video I'll be showing the rest of the pieces in this art gallery. And yeah, thank you again so much for pulling up, checking out my video. And yeah, much love, ate sway, and remember to stay fresh and stay fertile.